Next up on the show is Stephanie Stone-Robb, the owner and founder of The Enterprising Agent, who specializes in business coaching for real estate agents. So, Stephanie, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. Okay, so two-time icon agent. What's an icon agent?
So an icon agent within the company that I work with as a brokerage, we are basically the top 1% nationwide producing agents, which still feels very weird for me to say because when I got into real estate, I had no sales experience. I'm a little bit of an introvert. I'm kind of on the surface the antithesis of what you would expect a top producing agent to be. So every time I get reminded of that, it feels a little outside of body experience.
We'll have to get into why you're successful then here in a minute.
And that's out of a lot of people. Because, I mean, I know just in San Antonio, there are 12,000 agents.
Yeah.
12,000.
No, there are literally 12,000.
Is there
Literally,
really?
in San Antonio Board of Realtors, there are over 12,000
It's a real
agents.
number. I think you
There you
made
go.
that number.
No, that's not a Howieism right there. That's the real statistic,
Yeah.
man.
All right, so winner of the Best Realtor in San Antonio 2021 and top 3 finalist Best Realtor in San Antonio 2022. So why are you ranking so high? What's your deal?
I think the reason why I have found success in this industry is I come at it not with sales, but trying to solve a problem.
But I've heard that before.
But I actually do it.
Right? Okay. Okay, that's what you're saying. But tell me, what is it that you do that is, because there's something there.
Yeah. So as a brand new agent, I was still working full time, and I never expected to go full time real estate. But as I got into the industry and found opportunities to help people own their little bit of the Alamo City, I love San Antonio with all my heart. This is home. I grew up here. This will always be in my heart home. And so having somebody become part of this thing that I love is kind of my purpose, is, you know, what fuels me through the day. What I would hear over and over when I would work with buyers, especially the first-time buyers, is, Stephanie, you're the first agent that didn't tell me no. Or you're the first agent who didn't say, go fix your credit and come back to me when you're ready. For me, it is, we're going to figure this out together. And I don't care if it's 3 months, 6 months. My longest flight took us 18 months to get him to where he needed to be. But I was his advocate and his cheerleader throughout that whole process. So I think that's really where my success came from in working in buying and selling, or working with buyers and sellers, and has translated into working with agents as well. It's like, I'm that person that goes, no, we're going to dig into this until we can figure out a solution. And if you'll meet me halfway, I will go the distance with you.
So you said you're introverted, right? So,
But you identify as being extroverted? Is that how? Because seriously, you're gonna find this hard to believe, but I used to be in high school, but and before that, very quiet. I didn't like public speaking.
Same.
I didn't like. It's like. To me, that was like the worst possible experience ever, to talk to people in person, especially if there were more than 3 in the audience.
We are the same.
Yeah. But then all of a sudden I realized, there's a pot of gold, not literally, but, figuratively, at the end of being able to communicate a message to a broad audience and convince them of something that is going to be beneficial to them.
Yeah.
And as a result, the byproduct is going to be that it's going to make me have a good career. And I saw that was the way. And so is that kind of what you figured out?
Absolutely. Is that when I found that I was able to make connections and meaningful connections, and you mentioned that in high school you're like public speaking, and if there's more than 3 in the crowd, I think it's that assumption that nobody really cares what we have to say, or that nobody deep down really wants to hear us, even if we're coming from a good place. And so when I would communicate with people or offer options or try to offer solutions, and they're like, oh, that's really cool. I never knew that was an opportunity for me, or I appreciate what you're doing. It made me want to do it more. So, now I talk in front of crowds all the time. I am much more comfortable with it, but it's because it's that reflecting that value of me being able to provide a service, to provide education, to be able to provide support, to commiserate when we're having a bad day. And having that be welcomed.
And
go ahead. Here's how I look at it. So public speaking or being in front of people is not about me. Once I let go of that part of it, it's about that person getting the information or having a good experience or laughing. It's like Howie and I love being around Howie because he makes me feel great because he's funny. And it's a good time for me, right? It's not So Howie's not talking to me about himself. He's talking about whatever he's talking about, and I'm enjoying it. Well, I take that same attitude towards speaking. It's not about me being publicly accepted. It's just about me getting you the information or making you feel good or whatever. I love that aspect of public speaking. That helps me. Now, the introverted side is I recover by being alone.
Same.
Right? I can go out and do all the things. I could go sell cars, right? But I need to recover by myself.
Yeah.
Well, I don't need recovery time because
okay, that's where we differ.
that's
For
where
a
we
moment,
differ.
I was right there
but
with
I
you.
understand what you're saying. But I will tell you that what you're talking about in providing value when you speak and also when you sell a product or a service, the thing is that people, humans, buy and connect and trust, and we talked about that earlier, based on you telling stories.
Yes.
And so you have an experience with a man that it took 18 months to get him his house, and you stayed with him the entire time. If you tell that story in front of a group of prospective homeowners, what the homeowners are listening to, or the prospective homeowners are listening to, is that, you know what? If that's the upper limit, 18 months, I don't think it's going to take me 18 months to get my credit fixed or to save up my down payment. And so I want to work with Stephanie because I know she's going to stick with me. So people personalize the story to them.
Yes.
You're telling it about this other guy. They're looking at it as for them, and then they come and talk to you, and they already know. They trust that you're going to stick with them. You know that you have that stick-to-itiveness anyway because you stayed with somebody for 18 months, and now they heard that story, and they said, hey, what would it look like? Like, what would I need to do to be able to buy a house?
Yeah, and I think it's having people feel like they don't have to be embarrassed around me. I think was one of the things that led to my success or led to people trusting me. One of the stories, talking about telling stories, when I first decided to buy my first house a decade ago, I was rolling with a 510 credit score. So I've told folks that's where I started one. So try to shock me. Try to be the worst because I have been there. And I think when we can personalize it, whether it's a client that we worked with or a situation where we overcame some challenge or even just something personal, people recognize I can trust this person. And I know I'm not the realtor for everybody, and not every client is the right client for me. So I think knowing that I'm going to find those right people that get me and get what I'm trying to do and why I'm trying to do it and how I can help them, those folks that need that sort of help are going to recognize that.
So with respect to the enterprising agent,
Yes.
right? Because we're just having a great old time here. We're gonna run out of time. But so what was the motivation to launch the enterprising agent, and what is it?
Yeah. So the enterprising agent is a real estate agent coaching program or service that I provide. I am one. I've been an entrepreneur or self-employed in some way, shape, or form more time or longer in my life than I've worked for somebody else. I love building businesses. And so this gave me the opportunity to really dig into that, taking something from nothing into something, which is kind of also the approach with my home buyers, my home sellers, is we're starting from zero. How can we get you to a finish line? And constantly be helping agents build these little businesses. So I feel like I can come in, help build a business, and let them leave the nest without me having to build a new business for myself, each and every year or whenever I get bored.
So you're doing both.
like
then you're still an agent and you're doing the coaching business.
I am still an agent. I do the coaching. I've taken a pretty hefty step back from sales. So I now say that my agents are my clients. Before it was 100% buyers and sellers. I'm probably 10% buyers and sellers now, past clients when they need something. But now my agents, that same approach that I gave to my buyers and sellers, I am now giving to real estate agents of how do we figure out your pain point and how do we find a solution to get to whatever version your
I like the way you're feeding your addiction, though.
Yes.
You're like, okay, I can help other people rather than me starting a new business every other month. I can help other people do it, and that's how you're getting your fix. That's
Absolutely.
pretty slick.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and being a real estate agent is not as easy as people think it is. And I've seen, I own an advertising agency, and I've been in business for 3 decades. And I've had lots of agents come to me And they said, oh, no, I already have my business cards in my website because my broker gave me these cards with my picture on them. And then they have this broker domain name.com/agent/San Antonio/person's first name last name that nobody's going to ever find.
Right.
Online. And they think that is the silver bullet, and now they're going to get so many people coming to them, and that's not the case, right?
No. HGTV has lied to us. HGTV, Selling Sunset, $1 million listings, that you dress cute, you show up, you sell a house, you make $30,000. And those of us who've been in business for more than 2 seconds know that anything that we do, it's got to be more. We get to see the easy part on the surface, but there are these roots underneath that.
Yeah, it's called hustle and grind.
It is called hustle and grind. Yes, absolutely. And so being able to peel away and go, no, you are building a business and you have to treat it like a business, not like a hobby or not like what you see shiny on TV.
Huh. You don't make 6 figures off of one house sale? Crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. On Selling Sunset, they do.
They do. And then you get to go drink wine and gossip about the other person in the office, and it looks like a lot of fun.
Oh, no, and when you said shiny, I always think about, and I think it's alive and well in a lot of businesses, it's the shiny object syndrome.
Yes.
Is what I call it. I don't think I've done a talk on that, where people are like, oh, my God, real estate? I saw a show, I'm going to do that. Or with clients of mine, they're like, oh, I need to be on X, and I need to be on, not ecstasy, I know you're looking at me like, well, on Twitter.
I was like, well, I can help given the
social
situation.
platform formerly known as Twitter. But I need to be on Facebook. Why? Well, because I have competitors on it, and they're on it, and I need to be on it. Are you on social media personally? No, I hate social media. I don't want to be on it at all. And what do you think? Who do you think is going to follow you on business, right? So it's the shiny object syndrome, right? They want a Charger and they leave with a Corolla because that's what they need, a Corolla. They want a Charger. Yeah. So you got to build them up. So and there's a lot of that. Is that human nature? Shiny object syndrome.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we like that, right? I mean, I think really television has ruined, buying homes for most people.
Yes.
You're watching HGTV and Netflix and all that.
But we picked a lot of fights today.
We did.
Air
We've
Force
insulted
TV
Netflix.
networks, specific shows.
We're like a bunch of crabs tearing everybody down. So with the enterprising agent, you work with agents like just in San Antonio, just in Texas. What's the deal there? Who are you working with?
Right now, I'm focused 100% on agents throughout Texas. They don't have to be with the same brokerage that I'm with. I have found that when I work with our Texas agents, I know Texas contracts, so I can help them on what they're most afraid of, which is Texas Real Estate Commission, coming knocking down their door because they messed up. We are in the process of expanding outside of Texas in the new year, so that's what's coming next for Enterprising Agent. But since 2021, it's been Texas real estate agents throughout the state.
So there's specifics about contracts, but what else do you coach them on? I mean, I know there's probably a long laundry list, but give me the big ones. What are the things that they're lacking that their brokerage doesn't train them on?
Yeah. So when we have an agent come on board into the coaching program, the first thing that we do is we set aside 30, 45 minutes to talk about, okay, what are your goals? You have to know where you're going, where you want to go, because if not, I have no idea how to build a roadmap to get you there. We're going to talk about what are the challenges that we need to overcome, whether it's a schedule or something that you're afraid of or something that you feel weak on. How can we lift that up? We talk about marketing, and I love that you mentioned, I've got to be on Facebook, but I hate social media. I tell my agents there are 50 ways to build a business, and so we have to find those things that you are going to stick with, those things that you are not picking just because you saw somebody else do it, but the things that we know you're going to be excited to do because there's enough in this industry that will tear you down, that will feel like that grind. So why would I want to put you in front of the thing that you dread the most? So we pick maybe 2 or 3 things for them to really focus on for 30 to 60 days to track, okay, where are we finding success? What are those things that you thought you were going to love, but you're like, oh no, now that I know what that's like, that's probably not for me. I think I want to do more like this. So it's a journey. I compare it to hiring like a personal trainer. Do you want to run a marathon? Do you want to bodybuild?
Yeah,
what are we
your
looking
goal?
to do? What is your goal? And giving you the specific exercises to get you to what that looks like. So our program isn't everybody gets the same thing. Our program is what do you need to get where you need to go, and how can we follow you along the way? Again, very much like your home buyer, your home sellers. What are those things that we need to hit on this journey to get you to success.
Now, how are you compensated?
So I am compensated depending on the client. If they're with our brokerage is set up that if our agents are producing, I get a cut from production. Doesn't come out of their pocket, which is really nice for them because it's a no financial risk way of them to come in and try something new and play and get out of their comfort zone and know that the brokerage will foot that bill. In the new year, since we're going to be expanding outside of Texas, we're going to be rolling out a subscription model, and we can talk more about that, but something very affordable. And I know we're going to talk a little bit about like guru culture in just a moment. And
actually, we're out of time.
Oh,
yeah, and it went by really fast, right? So we'll just have to do a follow up.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, we run out of time pretty quick.
Yeah, no worries.
But yeah, so if folks want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
Yeah, so if they want to get in touch with me, they can go to theenterprisingagent.com. They can fill out a form to get a free coaching session with me so we can find out if they're a good fit. I'm also on Instagram at Enterprising Agent and on Facebook at The Enterprising Agent.
Love it. And then you know what? We should ask Ronney, if people want to get a hold of you, how do they do that?
I'm on every single platform. Brand name is Reverend Ronney or Ronney Vargas. But yeah, you can find me anywhere.
Did I actually forget to ask him that? I did?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I didn't want to throw you under the
I thought
bus,
I was a professional here all this time, but
I got your back.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. All right, let's wrap up the show. Quick reminder, check out our latest podcast and catch video versions of the show anytime by visiting our website at satalkradio.com, which is actually dark off the screen now. But at any rate, great job, everybody. Thanks a lot. And Howie,
great.
Thanks for being here.
Oh, no. Yeah. Always a pleasure. And look, voila.
We're back on.
on.
Back on the big screen. All right, you guys have a great week. We'll see you on the next one.
Yep.